welcome to my channel over here, where today we are doing a shop my stash. So what we are going to do is we are going to shop all my makeup I have in my vanity, and I have some stuff in a tote in my closet, and then we're going to gather all that stuff up, put it in this little bin thing that I'll show to you guys in my clips that I got for Christmas. And I've been wanting to, as it is like before 2024, use up older makeup. That was a good resolution I kind of started at the end of the year, and I've continued to do that this year. I want to continue to use up older makeup, not buy every new thing out there. Of course, we will still try out some new products, but that has worked really well because what I've done is I've pulled stuff this past week and put it in that little organizer that I got on Christmas, and that's the makeup I have to use for the week. And so while I was doing that this past week, I'm like, why not do a video for this? Shop my stash, show you guys, my stuff, and then we'll put the stuff on the face as well. I know a lot of shop my stashes, that's all you do. You don't apply this stuff, but we're gonna get ready together as well. So if this is a video that you like, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out. And don't forget to join the family over here and subscribe, and make sure the bell notification is on so you're notified of all my uploads. And without further ado, let's go shop my makeup and then put it on this face of mine. This is what we are working with as far as what I have been using this past week. So as I said before, we will be refilling this with stuff that's in my vanity here, and then stuff that I have in some totes. And again, I apologize for kind of the unorganized look you're gonna see in the totes. I do have a really good organizer coming for the makeup, skincare, all that stuff I have. So you guys will be seeing a little bit better of organization. It's on its way. It's probably late because of weather. We've got quite a bad Arctic, not just a snowstorm, Arctic snow coming. We haven't really had much of a winter here. We usually get bad winters, but the last 3-4 years we haven't really had one until this year. And it's supposed to be like -10, -12 in the next like 4 days. And then you have also the holiday. Okay, so this is what we're working with as far as what we're gonna take out. There will be some stuff I'll probably leave in, but for the most part, all of this is gonna go and we're gonna replace it, and then we will put the stuff that we replace it with on our face. So let's go ahead and take a look in the vanity and see what we got. Okay, so I didn't really use these two, Makeup by Mario and ColourPop, so we're gonna keep those in. I did use this quite a bit, and I usually use it quite a bit too. And then we have these two ColourPops. They're blush and bronzer. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these. I have used them quite a bit before doing this, trying to use up my makeup deal I have going on with myself, and also the bronzer, so we're gonna pull those. I do really like this, and I use it quite a bit, so we're gonna go ahead and keep this in. My Jaclyn Cosmetics bronzer is one that I use a lot. I didn't use it a lot this time around, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull it just because it has been used a lot, as well as the bronzer from House Labs. So I'm gonna pull that as well, but we're gonna keep House Labs blush because I haven't used that one too much. So we're gonna go ahead and put the blush here, or sorry, the bronzer here, and then we'll put the blush up here. So we do need to pull a few more bronzers. All right, in the back here, we have some mascaras and we have some concealers. So to start with, we have the Natasha Denona, which is pretty much almost gone. So I'm gonna keep her in here so I can use her up. And then we also have our Tower 28, which has been used quite a bit. It is still new, but I'm trying to use up a lot of old stuff as well. So we're gonna pull that for now, but it definitely might be one I bring back in. So we'll have to pull another 1 or 2 concealers to use. Now we have the Fenty here, the Hella Thick. This one I'm gonna pull. I've used it a lot in the past. I really do like it, but I used it a lot this time around too. We're gonna keep our Clinique. I haven't used that one too much this time around. It's a smaller one. And then this Give Beauty one, I absolutely love. That's why I put it in here, but I use it a lot, so we're gonna pull that one. My Tower 28 is almost gone, so we're gonna keep her so we can use her up. Then we have the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. This one I'm gonna keep because it really is my only like kind of natural type of mascara. And I like to sometimes, especially for an everyday look, to go with that type of look. Then we have the Telescopic from L'Oreal. This has been used quite a bit, and I used it a lot this past week, so we're gonna pull that one as well. So we've got 3 mascaras, 1 concealer. Sorry, guys. This stuff just keeps falling. I'll organize it here probably later after we put everything in. But so we got 3 mascaras, 1 concealer. So again, we'll pull 1 or 2 more concealers. We might pull 1 more mascara. I think I have more minis and I really need to get those minis used up. So, okay, so here we have some primers. This one's almost empty. This one is Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. So we're gonna keep that one in here to use it up. Then we also have our Say. I do wanna keep this one because it is wintertime and it's nice and hydrating and glowy, and I haven't used it much during this week, or really a lot in the last couple of months. And then we have the e.l.f. Cookies and Creams Putty Bronzer. This one is a little drying on my face, but I'm trying to use it even though it is drying, and I just hydrate my skin a little bit more with my skincare. But we're gonna go ahead and pull this because there is one that, although I've really been fighting myself to use the rest of it, that's in my vanity because I haven't repurchased it and I don't want to run out of it. I want to make sure I have a backup first. But we're going to pull this and replace it with that one. And then we have over here all of these eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to go ahead and pull the Natasha Denona one because I've used it quite a bit this past week and in the past. We're going to go ahead and keep this one in. I've used it quite a bit in the past, as you can see, but not this week. But we're going to go ahead and pull the Revolution Nudes. I've used it a lot in the past and this week. We're going to keep the ColourPop Set in Stone because I use that cream for like to set pretty much for like a glitter glue for any of my shimmers. We're going to go ahead and pull the Fill and Bubbly from ColourPop. Again, been used in the past a lot and did use it a lot this week. And then down here, we have only 2 setting sprays. I only have 2 setting sprays, so we're gonna keep these in. I don't have a lot at the moment. Sometimes I go through a kick where I don't want to use a lot of setting sprays and I don't have a lot. Sometimes I go through a kick where I have a lot. Right now I don't have a lot. LYS and Milk Makeup, they're 2 new ones, so we're gonna use those. As you can see, I really like both of them. And then back here, we have our powders. We are going to go ahead and pull the Rare Beauty because I use this one pretty much every day this past week. So this one's been used enough. And then our Kosas, I've used quite a bit, but I do want to use it a little bit more. So we're going to keep that one in. And then one size is a smaller one. And I've only used it once this week, so we're going to keep that in here as well. So we'll pull one more powder. And then back here, we have our foundations. Now, I'm going to keep this mainly because I do use this to set my bronzer and blush, like with the finishing powders, every day. If I don't use anything else in this, it is the finishing powders. So this is going to stay in here. At some point, I'll probably pull it, possibly, maybe. But again, I use that finishing powder every day. It's just so beautiful. It brings everything together. It makes that area so smooth and blurred and really good for mature skin. I absolutely love these Hourglass powders. I do like the bronzer, highlighter, and blush. I seem to pull for that highlighter almost on a daily as well in that palette, which I've kind of gone out of that highlighter phase, but I really love it. And then we have the Powder Makeup Forever foundation. I'm going to keep this in. I only used it once this week. And then, of course, I'm going to keep this in. It's my LA Girl Pro Mix. A lot of my foundations are darker, so I have the white one. We're going to go ahead and pull the MAC. I used this quite a bit this week. And then we have our Hourglass Ambient. I've used this a lot. I've had to force myself not to use it. So I think I'm going to, it is new, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pull it just so I force myself to use my older stuff. Same with Laura Mercier. It's new, but I absolutely love this. It's so beautiful. But again, I've had to force myself to not use it. So if it's not up here, this is all the stuff I pull for throughout the week. This is how I'm getting myself to use makeup, older makeup. So we're going to pull this. We're not going to use it for the next week, but we are going to keep this Ulta Beauty Moisturizing Foundation Stick. I've only used it twice and it is new to my collection. You guys didn't see me try it on camera. It was just one that was a pick up on the whim type of thing, but we're going to go ahead and keep it in here and we're going to try that. Okay, and then for lips. Summer Fridays is used a lot, just a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and pull her as well. We have these 2 lip glosses. One is the Drip Gloss Glazed from Morphe, and then Tower 28. We're going to keep both of these in. I really didn't use them too much this week. And then we have these 2 lip liners. I did use one of these quite often. I think it's the lighter one. So we're going to pull the lighter one. These are both the Sephora collection on the go. They're smaller. I thought I was getting the full size one. I got the smaller ones. So we're going to keep that one. We're gonna go ahead and keep this in. I don't really use red lips often. This is a Milani lip liner. And then we have the Flower Beauty, what is this one called? Plump Up Gloss Stick. We're gonna go ahead and pull this. I used it quite a bit. I didn't use these but once. I actually didn't use this color here. I only used this brown one. So we're going to keep those in as well. We're going to pull this. I use this quite a bit this week. It's the Moira. This Fenty Lip Stain is one that I really just don't reach for often, but that is, again, the point of this video and the point of me having this makeup up here to try. So I am going to keep that. We're going to go ahead and pull the Moira lip liner. This has been used quite a bit. Let's see here. We got other things back here. We're going to keep the About Face. It has been used a lot in the past, but I stopped using it and I haven't used it yet since we put it out here. So we're going to keep that one. And then as far as lipsticks, I'm going to go ahead and pull this Milani one in the shade. What shade is this one? Tease. I have other ones that we could pull too if need be. And then I'm going to go ahead and keep the Hourglass one. I have in the shade Oasis. And then what's this one? Dirty Talk for the e.l.f. one. We're going to keep those bullet lipsticks. I don't wear a lot of bullet lipsticks anymore, so that's why I did pull quite a bit to kind of force myself to. I'm more of a lip gloss, lip oil type of girl now. And then we have this very Valentino in a smaller size, and then this red Milani and Poppy. It's a beautiful red. Again, I just don't wear a lot of reds, but I do want to keep this in here to force myself to. I feel like this is a great time of year, even though holidays are over, reds are still a good time of year to wear in the winter time. All right, so that's what we're working with the stuff I've kept. This is what we've pulled. And now we're gonna go ahead and look in the vanity and then look in those totes, and we'll go ahead and collect some stuff, and we'll add some stuff to this, and then we'll put the stuff on our face. All right, we're gonna start in here with concealers, all of this jazz. You guys can see it. Oh, I also have a color corrector. I forgot about that up here that I'm gonna go ahead and pull. It's the e.l.f. color corrector. I've used it many times. It's good, I like it, but I do want to play around a little bit more with this Huda Beauty one. In my first impressions video, I didn't really like it, but we're gonna play around with it a little bit more. So we're gonna pull that one and try to see if my opinion changes on it. We'll go ahead and pull the Charlotte Tilbury as well. That way I have one I know I love and like. And then these are the only other two primers I have. This one is almost empty, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it so we can use it. And then this is the other one I was talking about that I wanted a backup before finishing it. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull it too, get it finished, and go ahead and bite the bullet and buy a backup. I really love it. It's the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. Then over here we have our mascaras. Now here we have two here that are minis that are almost gone, so I'm going to pull these two minis. This other one, Fan Fest, is new and I've used it so much, so for now we're going to keep it there. I've used it enough. And then down here, of course, we have my newer ones here for concealers, but I've used those quite a bit. However, I feel like I need to play around with the Kofi a little bit more. I really do like it, and it did go in my ranking video for concealers, and it was pretty low as far as like a really good one. Like, it was a low number, meaning it ranked really high in my opinion, but I want to play with that one a little bit more. And then I think we're going to go ahead and pull, let's see here. Let's go ahead and pull this one, because this one's almost gone as well. And I want to use up a lot of things as well. So the Makeup Revolution Eyebrow Filter. So there we have it for that section. Now onto foundations. I do still need to do my ranking of my skin tints, so I haven't got that done. I apologize. I need to purchase two more that I'm wanting to put in that video and test out, and then I'll do it. But I've already played around with a lot of these, but I really like this one, and I think we're gonna go ahead and pull this one, and we will go ahead and use that. And then we're just gonna pull one more foundation, I think. And let's go ahead and pull this one. I've used quite a bit of all these other foundations. Down here we have those, and I've used quite a bit of those as well. My Estee Lauder is pretty much gone, and so is my Giorgio Armani. They might not have anything in them. I should probably check that and toss them if not. But let's go ahead and do the Polite Society. And then back here we have our setting powders. I've really been reaching for this one since I got it. I really, really like it. This one and the Micole are like my two absolute go-tos. I'm going to go ahead and pull the Micole and the Makeup Forever. I think next go around we'll take Kosas out and we'll put this one in because that one's a pressed and I already have a pressed. So there we have it for that one. All right, and now on to eyeshadow palettes. I don't have too much. I really just stopped liking eyeshadow palettes or just really diving into them. Like, same with the highlighter. It just is what it is. So I think, we're gonna pull this Mocha palette from Catrice. It's been used, but I don't think I've used it enough. And then we've used the e.l.f. one a lot. I've used quite a bit of these ones a lot. That's what's hard. I think we'll go ahead and pull this one I got on Temu, and we'll play around with that one a little bit more. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's broke. I did not realize the Always Naked one is broke. That one I use a lot too, so we're gonna go ahead and just keep that one in for now. Obviously, all of these will come in rotation at some point. Let's go ahead and pull these two as well. It's been a while since I've used these two Tarte palettes. Okay, blush, bronzer, highlighter, all that fun jazz. We have some new ones here. We have the Nude Sticks blush and the Nude Stick bronzer. So we're going to keep those in here for the time being. I think we're going to go ahead and pull this bronzer. It's been a while since I've used it. And this blush. It's been a while. Oh man, this is where it gets hard for me with blush and bronzers. I think though that's good. Because we've already got, let's do one more powder. Let's do this one. Let's do this powder bronzer. And let's do this powder blush. And then I think we're good on blush and bronzer. I haven't used this one in a while. Like I've had it in my collection for quite a bit. It's probably the oldest thing I have right here in my collection. And then again, next go around, we'll pull for some more stuff. I do have the Sigma blush and bronzer here that's new, but again, they've been used quite a bit the last month. Last but not least, lips. So for lip liners, we are going to pull this LA Girl. Again, this one is new. Used decently enough, I would say, but I don't feel like as much as others. And then we're gonna pull these two Milani ones. I'm almost out of these, so I wanna use them up. And then for lipsticks, I think we're going to go ahead and pull this Rare Beauty bullet lipstick to replace the Milani one that we pulled. And then this is just all a mess. I don't like this much at all. So honestly, I'm probably going to just take this out now and then put it in my stash I have for stuff to give away. It's just the shade I didn't like. I just didn't like it. And then I always like to just have something to nourish my lips with on hand at all times. So I'm almost out of both of these. So I think I will pull this e.l.f. one and then this Ulta one. And then let's go ahead and pull this Honest Beauty lip balm. I really like it. And I like to actually pair it with the LA Girl lip liner I pulled. That's how I've been pairing it. And then I haven't used this ColourPop in a while. So let's go ahead and pull that. And then let's do a lip oil. This one I really love. But again, I'm trying to kind of reach for older ones. This one's almost out too. So let's go ahead and pull that. Although that plumping effect for that is like, it's true to Too Faced. Polite Society is a new brand from the people that were the founders of Too Faced. So if you know Too Faced plumping, the Polite Society one's just as bad. Let's go ahead and pull these two because really honestly, I got the Say and the Milk Makeup one close together, and I just kept pulling for the Milk Makeup. So I want to play around with the Say one a little bit more. And yeah, I kind of use these a decent amount, but we're going to go ahead and pull both of these. And then I do want to pull this just to play around with and put on top of other things. I've used it a decent amount, but I've really never played with it with other products. It's normally just one or two different lip products I had. Okay, we're gonna start with eyes. We're gonna use the Temu eyeshadow palette, and I'm using a BK Beauty 203 to apply my first shade. Also, I went ahead and already put on some concealer on my lids and then set it down with powders. I use the Natasha Denona concealer and the Makeup Forever HD powder. I'm not going to use that concealer today, but we'll go ahead and use that powder for under the eyes. Mainly because, like I said in my clip, I've been using that concealer quite a bit, but I definitely wanted to keep it in here and use it up because it's almost gone. It's definitely one I will repurchase. I absolutely love that concealer, as you know if you watched my ranking concealer video, which if you did not, go watch it. I have definitely noticed my eyeshadow definitely does look a lot better when I use some type of base. So we're just very lightly patting. I'm also been doing my eyeshadow a little different, you know, not too much, but a little different, using a little bit of different brushes. This is more packed and dense than what you guys have seen maybe in past videos. As I'm getting older, the skin on my eyelids are definitely, I wouldn't say droopy, but a lot thinner and more sensitive. So I also just tap it on. I don't really drag it much. I feel like that helps a lot as far as not, you know, disturbing the lid, and having a hooded eye as well. I feel like that's a good way to apply your eye makeup. Shade, we went in with this deeper shade right there, and we are going in now with a little bit more of a fluffy brush, but I'm concentrating a lot of it here on the outer corner, and then I will blend it into the rest of the shade. I like to keep a lot of my darker color on the outer portion of my lid, and then I'm also bringing it up just slightly above the crease, just a little bit below the brow bone. And even though I'm doing the swiping motions, I'm just very lightly doing that. Like, it's not very much at all. And then we're gonna tap on this side as well to give most of that color in that outer crease. And then we will go ahead and blend it into the rest. And then again, just a very gentle sweeping motion. Deeper, we used this shade right here, and now we're just concentrating that just on the outer portion of the eye. And I'm using this pencil brush, and it's just a tap motion. And I just will very slowly build that shade up because it is so deep. Once you get a dark shade into the eyes, it's a little harder to blend out really, really dark shades. So I'm just tapping it on because I have the hooded eye, so I have that fold on the outer portion here. So I will tap, open my eyes, close my eyes, and tap. And then, like I said, slowly build that color up. And I do bring it into the eyelid as well. Not too much, but we do bring it a little bit on the eyelid. And then up into the crease on the outer portion. And again, tap, open the eye to see if, you know, we need any more color in that fold, which is where my crease is, my natural crease, but we're going above that because of the hoodedness of the eye. Going in with that cream shade here in the ColourPop palette. As you saw, I'm almost out of that, so I guess I'm gonna have to get a glitter glue. I've heard the NYX one's pretty good. I just never went and bought one yet because I wanted to use at least the cream up in that eyeshadow palette. I don't use that palette too often. However, I do use it every day that I do my eyes with a shimmer shade for the purpose of that cream. I never use the cream for the purpose that it was made for, which was to go ahead and use on your eyes. I've always used it just for the purpose of a base, I should say, a sticky base to lay down my shimmer shadows, and it works really well for that. So if you have this palette, honestly, I don't think you need a glitter glue. This works really well to stick those shimmer shadows onto the lid. So I would suggest using it up first before getting any type of glitter glue. Like I said, mine's almost gone, so I will be going out finally and getting glitter glue, but that's what we did with that. And then we're gonna go in with our shimmer, and I really do like this pretty shade right here. It's a pinky shade. It's really shimmery, so we're gonna very, very carefully tap that on where we put that cream shadow just right there in the center, and then the outer portion of our eyelid. And then we will come back to putting shadow on the lower lash line. I really like this palette. I don't know why I don't reach for it more. I think mainly because it's got a lot of undertone of pinkness, and sometimes pink can make me look like I got pink eye, but not too bad, right guys? It looks really pretty. It's really nice and creamy and sticky, so it does a good job of sticking to your lids as well. It's a really nice palette. I really like it, but I always go back with shadow on my lower lash line, and sometimes upper, not always. We're not gonna do the upper eyes today, after I do my concealer. So there we have it. It's really, really pretty. And then I usually go in with mascara after I've done everything else, because if I'm using setting spray, I don't like to spray it on. After this has been put on, I'll put my setting spray on at the very end. The very last thing is mascara. However, we're not going to do setting spray today. It's not needed. I don't have a very busy, hectic day. So we're going to go in with the Kelly Ray Surf Proof. It's a smaller one. It's a wet formula. It's not bad. It just is a little bigger of a wand than I like. So I have to be very, very careful. Again, having the hooded eyes. And then also the fact that I've poked myself in the eye many times, and my outer and inner lashes don't seem to stick up very well. So I have to be very careful when I do those not to make a mess. But as you guys can see, it does a really good job. It's just the wand and the formula, although I've had it for a while and it's been open, didn't dry out. I like a wet formula, but not really wet. And this seems to be a pretty wet formula even after it's been sitting for a while. e.l.f. lip balm to nourish the lips while I do the rest of the makeup. And then we're gonna go in with primer. We'll let the primer sit, and then we will come back and we will do our rest of our base, like our foundation. For primer, I do want to use up my Impossible. So I know I pulled other primers, but for this week, or for this video, we are going to go ahead and use the Wet n Wild Impossible. It's one that I've repurchased probably like 3 or 4 times now, and I will definitely repurchase again. A lot of times for silicone based primers, this is so nice and hydrating and smoothing. And a lot of times for a primer that's pore filling like this, I like to keep on the center portion of my face. However, this one being a nice and hydrating primer as well, and it's so blurring, I do focus the majority of it in the center portion, but then I bring whatever I have left on my fingers and I will bring it through my entire face. And it does such a good job of blurring your pores, good job of blurring any texture, smoothing over any texture, and it does a really good job of hydrating as well as making your makeup last. Although, like I said, I don't have a really rough day, I do like to still use a primer that will also make my makeup last, because I still want it to last, but I don't need to use a primer and a setting spray. But as you can see, it's so blurred on this side of my face. This is where I don't have any primer, and this side I do. It's nice and smooth and blurred and feels really nice and hydrated. And again, I focus most of it on the center portion, and then whatever's left on my finger, I will put on the rest of my face, and I do the same on my forehead. I like to press it in to my skin before I let it sit for a minute. And I also bring primer down my neck, because a lot of times I bring my foundation down my neck as well. Going in with the Rare, or not the Rare Beauty, the Ulta Beauty Stick Foundation. The reason why I went ahead and chose to use this one, not only because, I mean, I've used it, I would probably say this would be my 4th time since I got it in the past week and a half. It's still new to my collection, but I haven't shown it to you guys on camera, so I decided why not in this video. And with this one, I do like to use a brush to start out with it. A lot of times I go in with a sponge to begin with, but sometimes I'll go in with a brush. But I like to start out with the brush, and then when I'm done, I will blend it and press it into the skin with a sponge just to make sure it's pressed in really well. It's such a nice full coverage. It says medium, but honestly, I find this to be full coverage on me. And I have rosacea, so I got redness to cover. I don't have perfect skin, but it's a good full coverage on my skin. It's so hydrating. And you know what it really reminds me of? Honestly, the more I've used it, it makes me think of the new one from Fenty Beauty, her foundation stick, which I really do like. This one I feel like is a lot like that one. So if you were on the fence about purchasing the Fenty Beauty one, I suggest picking this one up if you've never tried it first, and then go from there. I feel like Ulta Beauty collection is definitely underrated. I want to try more out from both Sephora's brand and Ulta Beauty brand, because I've tried a few things. I've had some hits, I've had some misses, but I haven't tried very much at all. I also had a recommendation video, or I guess a request video from one of you guys asking to do a video on Rare Beauty, or why do I keep saying Rare Beauty? Ulta Beauty's brand and Sephora's brand. So that's something I think will be coming sometime in the next few months. I definitely have some ideas for videos for this year, so that's definitely one that I think would be a good idea. But just look how full coverage that is, and it covers up so much. It looks so beautiful. It's hydrating. It doesn't sit on top of the skin. It really is just a gorgeous stick foundation, very inexpensive. So again, on the fence with the Fenty Beauty one, try out the Ulta Beauty first. I'm telling you, it's a good foundation stick. It blends really well too. Like, it just blends easily. And so far, every makeup I have applied on top of it, the 3-4 times I've used it, 4 or 5 now. It was either 3 or 4 before this or whatnot, but just everything I've used so far on top of it has blended very nicely. Like I said, I wanted to use the Huda Beauty color corrector a little bit more, because it definitely was one that was not a favorite of mine. When I tried it, I like the Charlotte one better, but I want to try it more. I want to give it a little bit more of a chance. Is it going to all of a sudden be my number one? Is it all of a sudden I'm going to love it better than the Charlotte or the e.l.f.? No, I already know that for sure. That's not gonna happen, but I still want to try it. It's in my collection. It's still new. It's not terrible. I think a lot of it is the shade. As you guys can see, I just did one little dot and it colored a little. It's my big thing with it, and it is really nice and hydrating and thin. So I think that's great for people like myself who, you know, you're in your late 30s or older. I think that is good. So there's definitely some good things to it, but I feel like it is so thin that it just blends itself out. That's my issue. It blends itself out, and you don't need a lot, so that's also a good thing. The shade and how much it blends itself out, I don't feel like it gives me as much as the Charlotte. I really like the Charlotte because it is creamy. It's like a cream to powder. It's not thick, it's not cakey. It looks really, really nice on the under eyes. So this one isn't bad, but I'm gonna play with it more. I'll use it more. That's why I went ahead and pulled it, but I don't know. It's definitely not gonna become number one. There's just definitely some things that I wish was different about it. For concealer, we are going to use the Makeup Revolution. It's pretty much gone. Like, there ain't much left in here. And so I'm just going to use the Rare Beauty brush, and we're gonna blend that in. I really like this concealer. Is it one that I will repurchase? I don't know yet. I have others in my collection that I need to use up, for one. For two, there are others in my collection that I do like a little bit more now. So I don't know, we'll see. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's really nice and thin. It gives a really good medium to full coverage. It doesn't look drying or cakey on my under eyes. But again, I have others that I like a little bit better. But here is with just color corrector and then with the concealer. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm just not sure if it's a repurchase. Now we are going to set the under eyes with the Makeup Revolution powder, or not Makeup Revolution, Makeup Forever powder. And I'm just swirling my brush in and then tapping off any excess. And then I'm gonna make sure we have no creasing, which that is one thing I do enjoy about this concealer. It's very minimum creasing. And then we're just going to apply on the under eyes where I applied any of that concealer here and this part of my face. This was a powder that was like my go-to for the longest time, until Ami Collet came into my life. And then we have Sigma that recently came into my life. This powder though is so nice. It's smooth, it's very lightweight, very finely milled, very nice and smooth and blurring. And it doesn't look dry or cakey. It's really, really good for all over the face, but I mainly use it under the eyes. I don't really use a lot of powder throughout my face, maybe in my T-zone every once in a while. But for the most part, I just do concealer and powders under my eyes. And then since the Hourglass palette, I just use their finishing powders where my blush and bronzer go and set those down. The Tarte Sculpt Tape. Now this, you don't need very much at all. Like, at all. It's very, very little. So I just always use 2 small dots just like that. And it's got the little twisty top thing that gets really messy. And I think that's one reason why I don't pull for it much, because I do like the shade. I think the shade is decent. And then we're going to use this complexion duo to blend it. And I don't know. I like the shade. I like the formula. Again, I just really think it has to do with the fact that the packaging, that those twisty top packagings, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. And then whatever's left on the brush, I just bring up here on my forehead. And then we're just going to blend it in. And then I think what we will do, normally I'll set it with a powder, bronzer, blush. But I think we're just going to leave it like this. I want to give all of these products their own fair chance. And some of these stuff I haven't used in so long, I don't even remember my, feelings and opinions on them. This one, it's definitely been a bit since I've used it. But again, I really think it's just the packaging. I remember liking the formula. I remember liking the shade, especially because I don't contour, I bronze tour. I like to do both in one. I don't have the time for 2 different steps, but the shade's really pretty. It's really nice and smoothing. I'm just not a fan of the packaging. That's my major thing. And then we're gonna go in with the same thing for the blush. And again, so messy. So I'm gonna just take this paper towel I have here and clean it up. And again, I think that's the main reason why I don't like this one either. It's just how messy it gets. And we still have some on the sponge from the last use, and it doesn't look drying. So we're just gonna go ahead and do 2 little dots there. And with the blush, I don't remember. So we're gonna very carefully blend and very carefully blend one side at a time. Some of these type of liquid blushes can get very out of hand very fast, especially if they're very pigmented. And sometimes they can get very drying. So I only want to do one side of the face first because I don't remember this formula too much. I remember it's got a pretty glow to it. And as you can see, it definitely does. I remember that. I just don't remember how I feel about it. So I feel like it is pigmented, but you could always build it up because I did 2 decent sized dots. I wouldn't say too small, too big. And it definitely is there. You can see it. But I also feel like it could be built up. But I think I'm gonna leave it as is. I think I like it like that. What do you guys think? Nothing? And with. Face is done, we're gonna go back under the eyes. We're gonna take the 2 first shades we used, this lighter one there, then the second deeper one, tap off some excess. And then we're just gonna very lightly put some of this on the lower lash line under the eyes, about halfway. I never go all the way in. And I'm using the brush set that I got off of Temu. These brushes are actually really nice. They were so inexpensive. They definitely perform well. I'm still very loyal to my BK Beauty brushes, but these ones are not bad at all, especially for the price. I think they were like $4 for a set of face brushes and eye brushes. So definitely not bad at all. We're gonna set the blush and bronzer. We're going in with the Hourglass, and we're using this brush from the Ariel, I think is how you say your name, and Morphe collection. And I'm mixing both the finishing powders. Sometimes I'll do just one, other times I'll mix both. But now we're just gonna go around the center, or not the center, sorry, the outer portion of my face, and we're gonna set it. So we're setting the blush, the bronzer, and a little bit here in the T-zone, not too much. And it really, as you guys will see, it just brings everything together. It makes it look so beautiful and natural. This Hourglass palette, like I've said it a few times, I tried to get last year's and then it sold out before I got a chance to get it. And I'm so glad I got this year's. I definitely jumped on it. I don't feel like once you have one, you don't need one every year. These are the ones that they come out with every holiday season. So there will be one next year if you missed out on this year's. But they're beautiful. I feel like they're worth it. The powders are just amazing. And I feel like they are really, really good for mature skin, for dry skin. And as you guys can see, it just brought life to my face. It brought everything together and it made it look so seamless. And it's blurred with a little bit of like beautiful glow to the face. So if you also went maybe a little matte and you want to bring a little bit of life back with a little bit of glow, just go in with some of these powders and you have that. Like I said, I pull for this every day, and it's either every day for finishing powders, maybe mixing both of them, maybe just using one or the other. And then a lot of times the highlighter as well. I'm not going to go in with highlighter today, just because I feel like we got the glow from this. We got the glow from our foundation. It really did give this beautiful like luminosity, but a hydrated luminosity. So not like glowy and greasy looking. Our skin just looks so healthy and glowy. So I don't think we need any highlighter, but so beautiful. And then I'll go all over my face with whatever is left on my brush and then down my neck. But this palette, I would have to say, is probably the best purchase of 2023 for me. Like, I do not regret at all, 100%. And I mean, as you guys can see, she's used. You guys can even see I use the bronzer a lot. I use the blushes a lot, but I do reach for this daily. At some point I might pull it from this trying all my makeup, you know, new makeup every week thing. I don't know. It might be the one thing that stays in here because I really just love how my makeup comes together when I use those finishing powders. At least we have lips, and I'm going in with LA Girl's Shockwave Liner. These are so creamy, so smooth. They last such a long time. You can either just line the lips and call it good, or you can feather it out, blend it out. Like, I'm obsessed. So I definitely want to pick up other shades. I have this in Gingerbread, so it's a lighter brown. And I like to line the lips, and sometimes I will, depending on what I'm wearing. On top, I will sometimes feather them out. But today we're just going to line the lips because then we're going to go in with a lip balm. But if I'm using like a pretty pigmented lip oil, I will go ahead and feather it. But today we're going to go in with the Honest Beauty lip balm. Like I said, I love this combo together. This is the shade. It's almost the same as the lip liner, but the liner is a tad darker than this. And this is so nice. It's hydrating. I don't know why I haven't reached for it too much since I purchased it. It isn't very long wearing. You do have to reapply it, but it's just very nice and nourishing. It feels nice on the lips. It has pigment, but not too much. And it just makes your lips look really nice. It feels really nice. I have this one in lychee, right? Yeah, lychee fruit. That's what it looks like. All right, guys, so that is it. That is our shop, our stash. I think as I do these videos more, maybe they'll not be as long, especially going through all of the makeup. But let me know if you like a form like this where we do shop my stash, but then I also come back and I put my makeup on with you guys and talk about what products that I pulled, which ones I'm using like we did in this video, and then kind of talk about the products and why I like them, and you know, maybe why I haven't pulled for them much and whatnot. Have a little chit chat about the makeup that we're putting on. And like I said, I will be doing this weekly, so I will be playing around with the rest of this makeup throughout the week, and then we'll pull some of it, we'll keep some of it in like we did this week, and then again we'll put the makeup on our face. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you here very soon, my friends. Bye.